The War of Crows had its origins in the fracturing of House Ursi, a noble family that had long held absolute rule over the kingdom of Cidalia. As tensions grew within the house, a bitter power struggle emerged between two factions, Crown Prince Ursul's Sallows and King Lucilius's loyalists. The Sallows sought a more centralized monarchy with increased crown authority, while the loyalists represented King Lucilius's preference for an advisory role within the High Council of Cidalia. The War of Crows was ignited by the Siege of Castronox, a decisive event where a united host of Cidalian houses endeavored to conquer one of the last remaining undead citadels from the old empire. The host was led by Crown Prince Ursul, driven by an unwavering determination to eradicate the undead threat in southern Cidalia, and his more cautious half-brother, Vaisol. Bickering as they always had, the two were lifelong rivals. Ursul pushed Vaisol to come to an accord on a quick and decisive final assault, and Vaisol disagreed wholeheartedly. Their public and loud verbal disputes on action created a cynical stir among the forces there, who began to loudly voice their own opinions, with some entire levies even threatening to return home. To address the discontent and discord within the army, Prince Ursul and Vaisol engaged in what was supposed to be a non-lethal duel that carried significant implications. If Ursul emerged as the victor, the army would commit to a headlong assault on the citadel. If Vaisol had won, the army would disband, believing the citadel posed insufficient threat to warrant potential losses on the scale of this size. Shortly after the duel commenced, tragedy struck as Prince Ursul inflicted mortal wounds upon Vaisol, delivering a deep slash to his leg and a lethal thrust to his gut. The true intentions behind Prince Ursul's actions, whether premeditated or a consequence of the heated duel, continue to be a topic of debate and speculation. The fratricide sent shockwaves through House Ursi and the kingdom of Cidalia upon the victorious return of the battered and starving army from Castronox. It deepened the division within the noble family, with loyalist clans and houses rallying behind King Lucilius to preserve his rightful rule and maintain stability. In response, Ursul's faction of so-called Sallows formed among discontented vassals and court allies who sided with Ursul against Lucilius in the interest of his decisive action. The War of Crows unfolded with battles, political maneuvering, and shifting allegiances as noble houses throughout Cidalia aligned themselves with either the Sallows or the Loyalists. Time and time again, the Sallows came out on top, seeming to possess uncanny intelligence of their foes and their movements. The war ended when Ursul forced his way into the throne room after a lengthy battle in the fields of the capital city of Ursus, and slew King Lucilius in cold blood, seizing control of the kingdom through his cunning and brutal methods. The short rebellions that followed were quickly crushed. Prince no longer Ursul was coronated High King of Cidalia. As a consequence of the war, 70% of various loyalist noble houses who had fought alongside King Lucilius faced execution for their now treachery against Ursul. The surviving members of these noble families endured enslavement in the harsh and brutal Calric pits of Sinner's Mark, a grim fate worse than death to many. In the occupied territories, heavy taxes have been imposed to rebuild the crown lands. The inhabitants of these shifted territories, who once enjoyed the prosperity under their previous rulers, now find themselves weighed down by the excessive levies, struggling to feed or even house their populations in livable shelters amidst the growing demands. As the people strive to rebuild their lives and reclaim their stolen dignity, the path ahead remains uncertain.